Picture this, you're 17, stuck in a house where your older brother smashes everything in a rage and gets away with it every single time. But one day, he goes too far, shattering his salt lamp all over your front yard and calling you names when you ask him to clean it up. So you decide it's time for payback. And trust me, this revenge is so satisfying, you'll be cheering by the end. Stick around to see how this epic sibling showdown unfolds. If you've ever wanted to serve a cold dish of justice to someone who totally deserved it, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and buckle up for a Reddit revenge story that'll have you grinning from ear to ear. Let's dive in. Growing up, my house was a battlefield, and my older brother, Jake, was the one lobbing grenades. I'm Maya, 17, and for as long as I can remember, Jake's temper tantrums have been a dark cloud over our family. He's 23 now, but he's been like this forever, slamming doors, punching walls, and breaking anything in his path when he's mad. The worst part? My parents never did anything about it. They'd sigh, shake their heads, and say, "That's just Jake." Meanwhile, I'd be the one sweeping up the pieces of whatever he'd destroyed. Jake's not just a hothead. He's a master at dodging consequences. He'd smash a glass and Mom would say, "He's stressed." He'd break a chair and Dad would shrug, "Boys will be boys." It was like Jake had a free pass to wreak havoc and I was just supposed to deal with it. The unfairness burned in my chest like a smoldering coal. Every time I tried to call him out, he'd flash that smug grin and talk over me, like I was just some annoying kid who didn't matter. But yesterday, Jake pushed me too far. It was a sunny afternoon, and I was hauling the trash out to the curb, the plastic bag swinging heavily in my hand. That's when I noticed it. Our front yard was glittering with chunks of pinkish white rock, scattered across the grass like some kind of bizarre treasure hunt. The porch was even worse, shards everywhere, glinting in the sunlight. I froze, my heart sinking. I knew this was Jake's doing. I went back inside and found out he'd smashed his salt lamp in a fit of rage. Apparently, he'd had a bad day, probably lost at Minecraft again, and decided to take it out on his poor, innocent lamp. The pieces were strewn all over our porch and yard, a total mess. I was furious, but I kept my cool. I walked up to his room, where he was sprawled on his bed, headphones on, building some pixelated castle on his laptop. "Hey, Jake," I said, keeping my voice steady. "You need to clean up the mess you made outside." He didn't even look. "Up. I'm busy," he muttered, clicking away at his keyboard. "I'll do it later." "It's a mess now," I press, my fingers tightening around the doorframe. "It's all over the yard." He finally glanced at me, his eyes narrowing. "Don't be such a dipshit, Mia," he snapped, then turned back to his game. My blood boiled. Dipshit? Really? I wanted to grab his stupid laptop and chuck it out the window, but I just turned and walked away, my heart pounding in my chest. I wasn't going to let him get away with this, not this time. Later, I overheard Jake whining to Mom, spinning some story about how I was bossing him around. Classic Jake, always the victim. I asked Mom if he'd cleaned up the mess yet, and she just sighed. "He said it's just salt," she said, like that made it okay. "He'll get to it. Just salt." Just salt. It took everything in me not to scream. That just salt was scattered across our entire front yard, and I was the one who'd end up cleaning it if I didn't do something. The injustice of it all hit me like a punch to the gut. Jake wasn't just breaking stuff, he was breaking me down bit by bit. With his selfishness and my parents' refusal to hold him accountable, I stood there in the kitchen, my hands trembling, my mind racing. I could feel the anger bubbling up, hot and sharp, but beneath it was something else. Determination. I wasn't going to let Jake walk all over me anymore. It was time to fight back. I waited until Mom left for her evening shift at the hospital. The house was quiet, except for the faint hum of Jake's music from his room. I grabbed a pair of gloves and a plastic baggie, my heart thudding with a mix of nerves and excitement. If Jake thought his mess was just salt, I'd show him what just salt could do. I stepped outside, the cool evening air brushing against my skin. The salt lamp shards glowed faintly in the dusk, scattered like broken dreams across the grass. I got to work, picking up every single piece, some as big as my fist, others as small as grains of sand. It took me nearly an hour, my knees aching. From crouching, my fingers sore from gripping the sharp edges through the gloves. But with every piece I dropped into the bag, I felt a little more powerful. This wasn't just about cleaning up Jake's mess. This was about turning it against him. Back inside, I crept up to Jake's room. He was still glued to his game, oblivious. Perfect. I pushed open his door just enough to slip inside, the bag of salt shards heavy in my hand. His bed was a mess of rumpled sheets, a stained pillow, and a pile of dirty socks in the corner. It was the perfect canvas for my masterpiece. I poured the salt shards all over his bed, letting them spill across the sheets into the folds under the pillow. The pinkish chunks looked almost pretty against the dark fabric, but I wasn't done. I grabbed a container of table salt from the kitchen and carefully drew a smiley face on his nightstand, then another on his desk, and one more right next to his laptop. Each one was a little jab, a reminder that I wasn't invisible. Finally, I scrawled a note on a piece of paper. "Oh, don't worry, it's just salt." I placed it in the middle of his bed, right on top of the shards, and stepped back to admire my work. My heart was racing, but I felt alive, like I'd finally taken back a piece of the power Jake had stolen from me for years. Here's the thing, Jake wasn't even home to see it yet. He'd left that morning to stay at Grandma's for a few days, working for our aunt's company. He wouldn't be back until Saturday. That gave me time to savor the anticipation, but it also made me nervous. What if he flipped out? What if he tried to get back at me? I'm stronger than him, 3 times stronger, honestly. Since he's a skinny twig and I've been lifting weights for years, but Jake's temper is unpredictable. He's got this dark, scary side that makes my skin crawl sometimes. The next day, I went back to his room to check on my handiwork. That's when I saw it, a pile of cat vomit right in the middle of his bed, mingling with the salt shards. I almost laughed out loud. It was like the universe was high-fiving me. I left it there, figuring it was the cherry on top of my revenge sundae. A month later, things took an unexpected turn. I hadn't been on Reddit much, so I didn't update anyone. But here's what happened. My dad found the salt-covered bed before Jake got home. He cleaned it up, probably thinking it was just another one of Jake's messes. Jake never even knew what I'd done. Part of me was disappointed. I wanted to see his face when he found the salt, the note, the smiley faces. I wanted him to feel the same frustration I'd felt for years, but another part of me was relieved. The more I thought about it, the more I realized Jake's scary side wasn't worth messing with. I started having nightmares about him getting revenge smashing my stuff, or worse. I'm bigger than him, sure, but there's something about his anger that feels like a storm. You don't want to stand in the middle of dots, so for now, my revenge stays a secret. Maybe it's better that way. I got my moment of triumph, even if Jake never knew it. And when I move out of this house, I'm done with him for good. I'll never have to deal with his tantrums or his smug grin again. Sometimes revenge isn't about the other person knowing what you did. It's about taking back your power. Mia's story reminds us that justice can be quiet, but it still feels so good. Have you ever had to deal with someone like Jake? How did you handle it? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm dying to hear them. If this story gave you that sweet satisfaction of justice served, smash that like button and let us know in the comments. What's the most epic revenge you've ever pulled off or witnessed? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss another Reddit revenge story. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.